South Georgia. I'm here with Chris County head coach Lawrence Smith. Welcome to Beyond the Whistle. It is so great to have you here. I've been meaning to get down here to the Cougar Den, and I'm so glad that I finally got the opportunity.
We're excited to have you here, and thank you for having us.
Of course. So y'all are going into your first region matchup this year against Dougherty on Friday. You're coming off of a very last-minute win against Northside. Where's your confidence?
We're really confident. The guys, they did a really good job second half of the game. Started off with a few mistakes, and then we started to minimize those mistakes and making sure we focused on ourselves versus focusing on other things. And we did a good job of being able to pull out that victory.
Yeah, and Dougherty's missing a big piece of their puzzle, Cam Davis, who has pretty much carried the team since he became a Trojan, since he was a freshman. So how do you plan to capitalize on that?
Whenever you have a player like that or that magnitude that's in your game plan or not in your game plan, it's a huge difference. He's a huge difference maker, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm a huge fan of the kid. I love the way he plays the game, but we have to focus on the things that we have to do, because even without Cam, they're a really, really good football team, really good athletes and great coaching. And we have to come out and be able to play physical football and mistake-free football so that we can come out with the 1-0 victory.
Yeah. You guys are 3-2 total right now in the season. You've only lost 2, and one of those was to Westlake, who is a phenomenal football team. But talk to me about those 2 losses and what you took away from those, and have you seen the changes that you wanted to implement from those 2 games in practice? Have you seen those changes really take place?
Well, when we look at those 2 losses, and really every game, wins and losses, we try to focus on the things that we can get better at. We made a lot of mistakes versus Westlake, which you can't do against a top-notch football team, and we did the same thing against Sumter, who's a really good football team as well. And when you make those mistakes against really good football teams, then generally you don't come out on top, and that's what we did. So we've been trying to focus on minimizing our mistakes while doing the things that we're supposed to do and doing it full speed and trusting the system. Yeah. And I think we've been getting better at that week to week.
Yeah, and y'all lost a lot of great players last year. 2 of those players being one was our special teams player of the year last year, David Mitchell, and then Julian Fox, who was our defensive player of the year. Both great athletes, huge assets for your team. Have you been able to really replace that talent? And if so, kind of talk to me about it.
When you lose guys like that, it's kind of a group effort to try to replace, guys with that type of ability. You never try to compare players, but you want to do it as a unit. And I think we've done a really good job as a unit. We've had individuals step up to make a lot of plays for us. Marion Young, C.J. Jones, a lot of our senior leaders, they've done a really good job of stepping up in those guys' plays. But I think we've been playing really, really good as a unit, offensively and defensively, to try to replace those guys.
And I'm looking at your banners, and it seems like you have quite a bit of seniors this year, too.
Yeah.
So kind of talk to me about this senior class, and you kind of already mentioned it in your previous answer, but really talk to me about this senior class and what they've been able to bring to the table.
This offseason, it's been really good, and led by this senior class. They've done a really good job of drawing the team closer together. One of the things that I've been harping on all year is the excitement that these guys have had for each other. And when you lose talented players like a Julian Fox, a David Mitchell, A.J. Brown, a Quay Walker, Ian Cleckley, when you lose guys like that, you have to bond together. And I think the bond that these guys have built and worked together for this offseason has been really good. And I think that's the thing that's going to carry us throughout the season, because they've been working and playing so hard for each other.
Yeah, for sure. And, we talked about the players that you lost. And, with losing a ton of players, a lot of them being starters, majority of them being starters, it kind of, I guess, the next year would go into quote-unquote a rebuild year. Would you classify this year as a rebuild year?
We try to do everything to have our guys prepared to step in. Senior from on down to freshman. We've never really cared about your classification. If you're ready to go in, we're going to put you in. If you come in as a freshman and you're better than a senior, then you're going to play. If you outwork that guy, we're going to play you. So we try to do everything we can to build depth year in and year out, so that when the next man steps in, be it injury or graduation, they're prepared for those situations.
And you had some returning starters, but the new starters, quote unquote, that you've had this year, talk to me about them. Who's really impressed you the most this year? They could be on both sides of the ball. It can even be more than one person.
We've had really good things happen in our backfield. We got C.J. Jones back. K.J. Morrell has done some really good things at the running back position, and they've been splitting a lot of carries. We've come a long way with the running back position. Up front, offensively, we've been makeshift, but we've been doing a good job of meshing as the season goes along. Defensively, Zamarian Hudson, he's kind of led us up front. He's played really, really well. He's a junior this year, but I'm really excited about what our linebacking core has been doing this year with Zamarian Savage and Amarion Young and K.J. Morrell, as well as Martarius Glover. So I'm really excited what we've been doing defensively. C.J. Jones and Caden Daniels have really led the way in the secondary as well with their solid play.
And going up against Dougherty, you know, obviously you don't have to tell me your entire game plan or anything like that or what you've noticed and things like that, but as you go to face Dougherty on Friday, what's really been the challenges you've been speaking to your players that you guys are really going to have to capitalize on, and if you don't, it can really cost you guys?
Again, we have to minimize our mistakes. A team like Dougherty, they're very explosive offensively, even without Cam. Cam just makes them that much more explosive. Defensively, they're a very solid team. We saw some of the things that they could do last year, and they're still doing some of those same things this year. I think they're just adjusting without having Cam the last couple of games. But I think the 2 weeks that they've been able to try to get work in without him, I think they've actually gotten better. Just looking at the film, even though they lost a couple of games, I think they've gotten better and understanding what they can and can't do with and without Cam. And I think we got to come and play our best game in order to be 1-0 this week.
And my last question is, you know, you have a very special guest coming back this weekend, Quay Walker, who's been a staple here at Chris County. Talk to me about Quay and what this means, not just like to you guys, but to your team and your community, for him to be able to come back home and his jersey be retired.
Unfortunately for me, I didn't get the opportunity to coach him. I wish I did have the opportunity, but I did have the opportunity to coach against him. And
oh boy.
and I can say that he was definitely a part of our game plan, you know, to adjust for. I've talked to him a couple of times, and it's been a pleasure. And to see a young man, you know, do the things he's done in high school, at the next level at UGA, winning the national championship into a first-round draft pick, that's just a testament to the type of young man he is, the type of work ethic that he's put forth for the goals that he wants to reach. And I'm extremely proud of him. And I'm happy to be a part of his jersey retirement on Friday. So make sure y'all come out and cover that.
It's gonna be so fun and so exciting. And such an honor and such an opportunity.
Definitely.
I think a lot of people don't understand like how big of an honor that is to have someone. Nobody can ever wear his jersey again. You know, that's crazy.
And I'm excited for our current players and managers and the community to see it and be a part, especially our youth, to see what a young man that comes from the same background as you, some of the things that he can achieve just by putting his mind to it and putting the work towards it.
And actually, my very last thing is talk to me about this young man over here. What have you seen from him? You know, don't blow his head up too much. I'm just kidding, but what have you seen from him this year, and you know, how big of an asset has he been for your team?
C.J. Jones, he's one of my permanent captains. He missed his entire junior season due to injury, but he was actually like a coach for us last year. So I'm very, very excited to have him back this year. And nothing has changed as far as his leadership skills, his skill set, understanding where he fits with helping the team, and it's been amazing having him back. Between he and Julian Fox, I've always said that if I had a daughter, I wouldn't mind them dating my daughter. And if I had two daughters,
that's a compliment.
If I had two daughters, he could date them both at the same time.
My daddy's a coach, and he would be like, "No, you're not ever dating anybody ever."
But that's just a testament to the type of person and the character that this young man exhibits. I think I told him last month that he's actually about 30 years old. But he's a great young man, great leader, just great all-around person. So academically, athletically, spiritually, like he's the type of young man that you want in your program and in your life.
Well, I think that's a good note to end it on. That's awesome. Take it what you will. But thanks so much for being here, Coach.
No problem.
Now we're going to talk to the man himself, C.J. Jones. CJ. Welcome to Beyond the Whistle. We just talked to your coach. It's so great to have you here. Let's just kind of jump right into it. You guys are going up against Dougherty on Friday. What have y'all really been talking about in practice, and what have you seen on film against them that you're going to have to really capitalize on?
One thing that we have been talking about is being prepared and mistake free. We try to capitalize on doing our own job and also capitalizing on making big plays. And so for this week, with a good team that we're going against and facing, and especially with homecoming being this week, we try to focus on the main points of the game. And so we've been seeing on film and stuff. We just been taking those things in and just engaging on being prepared.
Yeah. And Coach Smith said that last year you were out your junior season.
Yes.
And you were technically a coach. Do you think that time, though, made you a better player? And if so, what all did you learn during that time when you were spending so much time on the sidelines?
One thing that I did learn, I started to learn about myself. I started to learn about the things that the other mistakes that people were doing. I started learning that I used to make those same mistakes, and I found out ways to prevent it. I also used to go out and coach the guys or whatever, and just basically give them the idea of how you play this scheme or how you play this zone or this man coverage or whatever, and to really implement your game and be on top of it, because you never know when your time could be done. So I always just told them, like, hey, always be ready and just stay positive and play fast.
Yeah. Was it that time when you really decided that you were going to be one of the leaders on this team, or do you think that your, quest for leadership or whatever started way before that?
My quest for leadership started my sophomore year, actually. Coach Pat, he was here, Coach Ellen, they came in, and from then on, I knew when that class before us left, I knew right then and there it was time for me and the other guys to step up. So when you get an opportunity like that, and the coaches that come down from a big school or a big time program, and they give you the ability to go out and showcase your talent, it's just an opportunity that you have to go out and you just have to show them. So it was a great chance for me to just show what I can and what I am doing now.
And we talked a little bit off camera that you play multiple positions.
Yeah.
You play safety, you said you were on special teams, you even have time on offense. So let's kind of talk about that. That's such a big responsibility, not just to be able to do that for all 4 quarters, but also to study film every week.
Yeah.
So how are you able to kind of categorize that and really organize everything going into Friday each week?
The one thing I do when I'm studying film, I always try to study the weakest opponent, because if I can take over that person and minimize the explosive plays, I then know we can take advantage of our own big plays. So week in and week out, I just try to study as much as I can, because I know in the end I'm gonna be accounted for it when that time comes. So the game plan for me is really easy. So
yeah.
Studying is nothing.
Yeah. Which position is your favorite?
That's a good question. I love them all. I love the ball in my hand. I love going after the ball. But if I had to choose one, it'd be safety. Coach L, he always, when we first met, he said he remind me that I remind him of Ed Reed. I always ask questions. I'm always after the ball, and I'm just a go-getter. So safety is my favorite position.
Yeah. And how important is that position? Not just for you, but also, everybody that plays in backfield. How is that going to play into Friday? How big of a role, do you guys have against Dougherty?
As far as pass game, safety, Friday, corner, Friday, defense period is going to be very important. We got to be able to capitalize on the big plays, the explosive plays, and be mistake-free. We got to be able to capitalize on the things that won't tear us down as a defense, and also be able to let the offense go out and showcase their skills as well.
And we've already talked about, Friday's a big day. You got homecoming, This is your senior year. It's your last region game, you know what I mean, in high school. Do you feel a little added pressure, especially since Quay Walker's going to be here too? Is there like an added pressure on not just you, but your team? Do y'all kind of feel that you have to perform even better than you normally would just because of everything that is literally happening on Friday?
Oh, Friday night, the pressure, it is on. I feel like the pressure's always on a Friday night, but it's just up to us to continue to stay focused and, like I said, mistake-free and locked in. We got to be able to just show everybody. I mean, what you saying outside ain't really what's inside. So that's the motto for us. We always just want to show and just go after it.
Yeah, and like I said, Quay's coming back. He's in the NFL. He played at Georgia. He's been a huge staple here at Crisp County. You also grew up here, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So. Did you look up to Quay, and is it kind of like a full circle moment, him coming back and seeing his jersey retire, and is that motivating to you guys?
When you have somebody like that, starting from Little League all the way to middle school to high school, and you growing up and watching him play, it's been magnificent, especially in college. Going out, not being able to really buy in, but still focus on the prize. You know, he kind of had a moment where he was kind of stuck, but some way he got out of it and got a national championship. And that's just the type of players that, that you make down here. Sometimes we fall, sometimes we can't get through the hard times, but, we come out of it and we become successful. And seeing him going to the first round and becoming an NFL player, that's a big thing, and that's a big dream for myself and younger kids because it's a truly blessing to see somebody like that and to see where you come from and see where you can be in your near future. And with him coming back, it's going to be a very amazing moment for us.
Yeah. And, my last question is, it's your senior year. It's kind of like a bittersweet year, you know. And the seasons has gone by so fast. Like, we're already going into, week 7, and it does not feel like it at all. So talk to me about, what it feels like to be a senior, going into your first region game as a senior, and your goals that you have set for yourself, not necessarily just in football this year, but even, after you graduate. What are those goals, aspirations, dreams?
Well, being a senior it's undreamful because you think back to when you was a freshman, you be like, man, I was just a freshman and now I'm a senior. So
wait till you get to college.
when those guys last year left, like Julian Fox and AJ Brown and David Mitchell and all those guys, when they left, they told us like, hey man, y'all up next, so you got to take advantage of it. And now that it's my time, you got to take advantage of it. And so one of the goals for me really outside of football is to create a positive culture in our school. A lot of things been going on, and a lot of good things been going on also, but a lot of bad things have been going on as well in the community and in our school. And my biggest focus is to create something that when I leave, it can continue to go on and it continue to put a positive influence on somebody. And also to win state. If we capitalize on the things that we have to do this year and what we supposed to be doing, I feel like we got the advantage and we got the opportunity to do it. So those are two of my big aspirations this year.
Is there anything else you want to say either about the game or in general?
Let's get this win.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow me on all my social medias to keep up with future episodes of Beyond the Whistle. See you guys next time.